everybody, my name is Rydo, and today we're starting Hexcells Infinite. And this is the third in the Hexcells series. We just covered Hexcells 1 and 2, which was just called Hexcells, then Hexcells Plus. We can already see there's some new stuff in the menu. First of all, this audio has this here, which makes me wonder if there might be some audio cues. There's a button here to right click or left click switch, swap your mouse button. And this button here seems to toggle in an overlay or an outline. Right here we can see just barely, they still didn't really fix this very bright or very close to white gray. Load custom level, that's new. We have an infinite mode, that's new because this is Hexcells Infinite. But first, we're just going to start in the basic game with 1-1. Now, it makes all the sense in the world, and almost certainly you're going to play Hexcells, then Hexcells Plus first. But because it's probably going to only get more and more difficult in Infinite. Hexcells Plus was very difficult. In fact, to get the final 6-5 correctly, I had to actually cheat. I couldn't ever figure out how to solve the puzzle. Anyways, let's get to the basics of the puzzle. You want to remove orange hexes to reveal the pattern underneath. The number in an empty hex, this, tells you how many adjacent hexes, these, are part of the pattern. This is basically Minesweeper, but they never say it. Left click to mark a hex as part of the pattern, or flag it, flag a mine. Right click to destroy the hex that aren't part of the pattern. So, for instance, this 6 is touching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so they're all part of the pattern. This 0 is touching none of the pattern, so we can right click to get rid of all of that. And then our first real puzzle here. We have 5 remaining, which sometimes is a useful piece of information. Click the icon if you'd like to swap your mouse buttons. Oh, see? It even changes the instructions. Nice. New features. This 3, for instance, is only touching 1, 2, 3, so we know all 3 of those are in the pattern. This 2 now is touching 2 matches, so that means we know these can't be part of the pattern. And then by eliminating this one that's touching 1, this 4 now is only touching 1, 2, 3, 4. So those 2 are part of the pattern. And if you make less than 2 mistakes, you will get all of the hexes. If you make 2 mistakes, you won't get them all. At least that's how it worked before. Let's go to puzzle 1, 2. It's nice to get back to basics. Just start simple, but I imagine it's going to start ramping up quite a bit here, because there's a lot more to it than what we've seen. This 0, for instance, again, not touching anything, so these can all go away. This 0, not touching anything, so those can go away. This 2 is only touching 2, so that's in. This 1 is already touching 1, so that one's out. This one's already touching 1, so that one and that one are out. This one is already touching 1, so that one's out. This one's already touching 2, so that one's out. This one's already touching this one, and that one's out. So, this 0 is not touching anything. We can get rid of this. And then you are stuck now because it's a 50-50 shot. Could be this one, could be that. We don't have enough information to logically guess there. But there are some other things we can do. If there was one here, there has to be one here. Or if there was one here, there couldn't be one here actually. Because if we put one here, we couldn't put one here, otherwise this would be a 2. These numbers are never wrong. They may not be helpful, but they're never wrong. I may even go and say the puzzle is wrong, but I can probably assure you that that's just me losing mental focus. So I can't put one here and then satisfy this one. So this one has to be out. Then that means this one is only touching one, and it was always only touching one actually, so I could have said this one was in right there. Then since this one's already touching one, that can't be one. And since this one is only touching one now, this has to be one. There are two remaining. So we could pretty much go ahead and guess that there's going to be one here and one here. But let's play the right way. This one's touching this one, so that one can't be one. This one's touching this one, so that can't be one. This one's not touching any, so that can't be one. And this one's here. And that's what I figured was going to happen. We have a 50-50 shot here. One is here between these two. One is here between these two. Those are the only two remaining. So that's where this comes back into it. Once you get it down, usually once you get it down to a small enough, a manageable amount of remaining pieces, or mines as I like to call them, you can use that information. So since we know there's one between these two and there's one between these two, that's the two remaining. That means absolutely there cannot be one in these two. So that solves this puzzle. The 0 here means neither one of these are mines. And the 2 here also means, since it's only touching 2, that those 2 are mines. Click that, click that. And we get a few more hex cells. And we're going quickly at the beginning, but soon it will probably take 30 minutes to an hour to over an hour to do a single puzzle. I try to make an episode 30 minutes, but it's hard to tell. So you might look at this and go, there's no possible way. This one says of these 6 around it, one of them's being, only one of them is part of the puzzle. And then this one is saying of these 6 around it, 5 of them are part of the puzzle. But actually, these numbers work to each other. This says only one of these is possible. So, 1 between these 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we don't know which one is here, but we do know absolutely without a doubt, maybe with a little doubt, that this is part of the puzzle, this is part of the puzzle, this is part of the puzzle, and this is part of the puzzle. But we still don't know about that. However, this one also means that only one of these 2 is the only one. So these 4 here can't be part of the puzzle. So get rid of them. And then that starts to open a window of opportunity to start solving this. This 2, for instance, is only touching 2. So that means those 2 have to be part of it. This one is already touching 1, so anything else touching it can't be part of it. This one is already touching 1, so those 2 are out. This one is only touching 1, so that one has to be in. This 2 is already touching 2, so those 2 are out. This one's already touching 1, so that one's out. This 3 is only touching 3, so that has to be in. This one is now satisfied. It has satisfied the conditions, so that's out. This one's satisfied, so it excludes this one. This one also excludes this one. So back to this 5 that we started with, it's touching 4, there's only 5 left. This 2 also is only touching 2, so that has to be part of the pattern. This one is already touching 1, so that one and that one are gone. This 3 is already touching 3, so that one's gone. This 1 is touching 2, so we can't solve that. And then, but this one is already touching a piece, so that, and that are out. and that means this one and this one are now only touching 1, so we can include that as part of the pattern. This one again is only touching 1, so it's inside. This 3 is already touching 3, so that's out. This 3 could be any of these, so we need a little bit more information, and we will get it. This one here is touching this one, so that, and that are gone. This one is now only touching 1, so that's inside. And this 3 here is only touching 3, so that's in. Now, one strange thing about Minesweeper compared to this is when you solve a puzzle to this point and there are no more remaining, you would just win. You don't have to unmark everything that's not part of the pattern. It seems a little silly. In fact, if I was going to give one major criticism of this game that was only made by one person, is I really feel like it should crumble this away after there are no remaining and do like a little fireworks thing. Even Solitaire did something like that in Windows 3.1. We're not getting a lot of super feedback. We get the little MIDI music. I believe it's MIDI music. It sounds like MIDI music. And the dun 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 dun, and I like that and all, but I would like something more visual. So now we're introducing something that was introduced, I believe, in the 2nd chapter of the first game, maybe the 3rd chapter of the game. Numbers inside brackets tell you additional information that the surrounding hexes are consecutive. So that means this 3 here has to be here and here because it has to be all connected, consecutive. And since this one's only touching 1, that has to be part of it. And since this one's only touching 1 that also touches this, this has to be part of it. So those 2 are out. This 2 also says the same thing, so it could be this one or it could be this one, but it can't be either one of these. So those 2 are out, and then this 0 eliminates that one, which then only leaves that. This 2 here is only touching 3. So the valid options when a 2 is touching 3 and they're consecutive are either this one and this one and this one and this one. Both of those valid. That's the one I'm trying to say. Both of those valid options, you include this in the pattern. So this one has to be included in the pattern. But that only works if you logically know that you're doing every single possibility, which isn't too hard with 2. Can get a lot more difficult when you start using bigger numbers. But it really can't get that much difficult because at the very worst, right now at least, it would only be involving 6 hexes. The 6 hexes around 1. So this 3, for instance, now is also consecutive, which means it can't be this, and it can't be this. We know that already. It has to start and be connected with this and touch this, which means it has to be this and this. This 0 eliminates that one, this 0 eliminates that one, this 0 eliminates this one. That means only this is part of the pattern. You start off so simple. I may very well run through all of the first chapter and it's only going to get more difficult. So the first time they introduced the concept in Infinite, they seem to be doing a lot better at introducing this. They're giving us example pieces and then a real puzzle. And then they're just moving on to the next piece of information because I'm sure well, I know there's a lot more information to learn, but there might even be some better information. So, interesting here, the way this is laid out. There's no way that this can be 1, because there's not another piece right next to it that are consecutive, as the way it counts right here. And it's a little weird because depending on where the number is when we get introduced to some new concepts, some concepts would skip this and this empty one and continue, so this and this would still be valid as two consecutive, but this doesn't. So that eliminates this and only leaves three. Again, the two options are this or this and this, or this and this, which means that's part of the pattern, one way or the other. This 0 eliminates the 3 here. This 2 is only touching 2, so those 2 are in. This 3 is already, this 1 is already touching 1, so it can be eliminated, and that can be eliminated. That leaves this one only touching this one. So then this one eliminates this and this because it's already been satisfied. And does that leave any more things we can figure out? Let's see. This 2 can have 1 here or 1 here. But what it can't do is have 1 here and 1 here. Because if I put 1 here and here, this would be a 2. Absolutely. So we know at the very least this one has to be 1. So now the calculation has gotten a little bit more difficult there. So if the second one, this one was here, then this one would be here. If the second one is here, then this one is satisfied and that one's out. Either way though, that doesn't help me. This 3 could be either one of these. So there's 1 between these 2, there's 1 between these 2, that's 2, and that leaves 6. There could be 1 here, and there could be 1 here. That would be 4 remaining. And there's just a bunch of others. Have we already run into a point? This is a nice small puzzle. They get bigger, but I just don't. If I put 1 here, and then 1 here, and then 1 here, that would be fine. If I put 1 here, and then 1 here, and then 1 here, that would be fine. If I put 1 here, that would be fine, and then 1 here, that wouldn't be fine. If I put 1 here, and then 1 here, that wouldn't be fine. I think through this calculation, this new calculation to me, this one can't be included. So I'm not sure I thought that all the way through, but I guessed somewhat and was successful. It's kind of a shame the game can't verify your knowledge really any more than if you solve the puzzle or not, because you can easily cheat a couple different ways, and then if you guess randomly on the puzzle, you're only going to make it harder for yourself. This one's only touching 1 now, so that's in. This one is still touching 2. This one, well, there has to be 1 here, but there still could be 1 here and 1 here. Or there could be 1 here and 1 there. But either way, I believe if there was 1 here and 1 here, then this 2 would be satisfied. And if there was 1 here, then this 2 would be satisfied. So I think that again says this can't be part of the puzzle. Then this 3 consecutive fixes a lot of problems. 2, 3, there. Gets rid of these 2. This 2 is now only touching 2, so that's in. This 2 is satisfied, so that's out. And then this 3 is only touching 3, so that one's in. Nice. This 3 is only touching, already touching 3, so that one's out. This 2 is already touching 2, so that's out. This one's already touching 1, so that's out. This 0's not touching anything, so that one's out. And this one's only touching 1, so that one's in. So we had to go all the way around in the snake-like fashion just to solve and figure out this, which then allows us to get rid of this, which this one allows us to get rid of this one allows that one to go, this one allows that one to go, this 2 is only touching 2, so that's in. This 3, now that we've gone full circle, has already been satisfied by touching 3, so that one's out. And then this 3 here is only touching 3 remaining, so it's in. And we've got 22 pieces of the puzzle. 22 opens the second one, but we need another 22 to open the third one, and then another 88 to open the fourth one, 178 to open the fifth one, and 306 to open the sixth one. So I haven't experienced it this way, but it certainly could be rather difficult if you couldn't beat a lot of these on their without making mistakes. If you had to make a lot of mistakes to solve the puzzle, I think you would pretty quickly have to decide to cheat, and that would probably lose all the fun for you. This 2 is consecutive, so that has to be this one. This 1 eliminates that. This 0 eliminates that. This 1 eliminates that, and that. This 2 now includes this one. This 2 now eliminates these 2. This 1 now includes that one. This 3 has to be consecutive, so 1, 2, 3 gets rid of that one. And then this 4 is only touching 4. So in. And then this 2 consecutive means either this one or this one could be the solution, but this one can't. And then this 0 eliminates all these, which includes that one. This 2 here is the same pattern, so this has to be part of it, which means this could be, it could go 5 this way, or it could go 5 this way. But let's leave that one alone, because the bigger numbers are generally things you want to you want to get to last if you can avoid it. This 2 is only touching 2, so that one's in. But this 3 is touching 1, 2, 3. So those 2 are in. This 1 is then satisfied, so it gets rid of that. This 2 is already touching 2, so it gets rid of that. And then, can we do more? No. This 1, however, is only touching 1, so that has to be part of the pattern. This 1 then gets rid of that. Then this 2 includes that one. This 2 gets rid of these 2, so it does help. This 1 gets rid of this one. This 0 gets rid of this. And this 2 includes this. This 2 includes this. This 5 includes these 2. And you kind of hit a barrier here as far as information coming around this way. This is satisfied this though, so we can work this out. But then you're still missing something here. In fact, we're missing a little bit. This one tells me that one of these has to be included, and then because one of these and only one of these is included, and there's a second one here and it's looking for 3, that means this is included. So we still don't know which one of those two, but we know this is included, so that means this 2 is satisfied and it gets rid of these 2. This 2 is already touching 2, so it gets rid of these 2. This 0 gets rid of this. This 2 includes this. This 2 includes this. So again, we've hit a wall, and that's usually how these puzzles go. You just hit a barrier and a barrier and a barrier. But we've now done everything in the right order, and it's really helpful to do these puzzles in the right order, the way the puzzle maker designed them. Because if you don't do them in the right order and you randomly guess a 2 here with none of the others eliminated, really isn't going to help you any. You've just risked a mistake for no reason. But now that we did do it in the right order, we have one mine remaining, one piece of the puzzle, and we know it's these, either this one or this one. So we can go ahead and just eliminate these. This 2 eliminates that. This 3 includes that. And that's all of chapter 1 in 26 minutes. So let's look at 2.1 here and just see how long and how big it is. Well, 2.1's not going to be that long. So, ooh, the menu even gives you an overlay now. Before you would just click to the menu and it would go straight to the menu, or the sub-menu at least. Now it says continue, restart, exit. It even gives you an option here. So let's exit and then go back to the menu. This goes to the menu. So what happens when I click this? That becomes less faded. So I haven't seen the load custom level work yet. It seems like clicking on this does nothing so far. Maybe that's something they're going to do later. And then let's look at the Infinite. So we're gonna, with Hexcells Infinite, you now have random seeds and custom seeds. We'll just, I guess we could use today's date as well, the day I'm recording. And there's an achievement for doing 60 of these. So let's generate today's date. Wow. Yeah, this is a standard Hexcell puzzle here. Look at this nightmare. We won't bother trying that. Let's try 0 and see what that looks like. Well, zeros all seem to pretty much have some randomization thing. So if we try 0 again, it will be the exact same puzzle, of course, so you could tell your friends. And you can continue a saved puzzle. Interesting. So how do I do that? If I start 0 and then I mark 1 off and then I exit, puzzle progress will be saved. Interesting. And then continue save puzzle. There we go. Nice. So if you only wanted to work on a puzzle for a few minutes, that would be very nice. With the infinite generator now, that really kind of finishes the Hexcells trilogy right nicely. Very, very nicely. I still didn't see what this, clicking this did, though. Like, it it seems to look exactly the same. Maybe, yeah. So, if it's making some slight visual difference by doing this, I'm not seeing it. Let's keep coming in and out of this. Maybe it's doing just the ever so slightest black lines around the hex cells. I don't know. Yeah. The visual differentiation here is not great. And then load custom level doesn't seem to work. And then I never really figured out what this logo was. It's in each of the games, and if it's supposed to be this one game creator's logo, it doesn't get explained anywhere. Anywho, that's been 30 minutes of Hexcells Infinite. Next episode, we'll start on Chapter 2. The puzzles will get more difficult, and it will take more time to do individual puzzles. We might even turn off the music next time and see what happens there. Anywho, I end all my episodes the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos, because all of that helps me out. If you want to support me even further, you can click on my name Rydo. That gets you to my main YouTube page. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel. Also on my main YouTube page is a playlist tab. You can click that, see a playlist for every game I've ever covered. And then down below in the description box, I have all the links to social media sites, so you can friend and follow me on things like Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+. You can friend me on Steam, you can friend me on battle.net, and that's about it. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.